What's up, everybody? It's Otaku Tavern back at you with another video. It's still windy as heck out here, so I apologize for the wind. It's making a lot of noise. This is a second walk with Luke. If you're new to the channel, like, subscribe, click the bell notification so that you do not miss a video and all that stuff. I got the first video done with editing that I did. It'll be uploaded sometime today, or well, the day before, since this is a video that's not necessarily the same day, but anyway, so something I want to talk about today is I want to talk about this is kind of a video I'm going to talk about for men, I guess. Women, it's for women too, but so men, I want to talk about if your woman is clingy, and then I'll also want to talk about to the women if your man is clingy. And you know, a lot of people view this as a bad thing. You know, do I think it can turn to a bad thing? I wouldn't necessarily say that. I would honestly say that it's like, I mean, it can be a bit too much at times, depending on how it is. But nonetheless, I'm gonna tell you this now, men. If your women are clingy with you, I'm gonna be straight with you. You know, this, in most cases, this is a good thing. You know, because I'll tell you this now, a lot of access men would give anything to have a clingy woman. You know, I haven't seen one guy on YouTube, he's an access man, and he was talking about how he would give anything just for a female to stalk him. And it's like, you know, I guess that's a crazy thing to say, but at the same time, I guess I understand what he's saying, because, you know, I know there's men who can't ever get any female attention and such, and, you know, that's something they would say. So, but anyway, you know, this is a good thing that if your woman is clingy, because not only does it show she cares, but it also shows she's territorial with you. And, you know, in a messed up world, a messed up society that we live in now, a lot of people view this as a bad thing, because they're wanting to go out and, you know, go around town and, you know, experience a lot of other people. You know, and most of the time, if you have a clingy woman, you know, who's super clingy and just wants to be around you all the time, more than likely you're set. Like, more than likely, you know. I mean, I guess there's a few with the exception that they do go out and cheat, but you know, this is a good thing. You know, sorry, there's a car coming. But it should be viewed as a good thing, because, you know, that shows they care. You know, same thing if a man's clingy with a woman. You know, a lot of women be like, oh, I don't like it, it's a turn off. It's like, why? You know, like, I mean, I get it if you can't, like, go to the bathroom in peace or something, I understand, but, like, you know, if he's wanting to sit there and be at home with you, you know, you should be grateful for that, you know. And but you know, a lot of people, they fuss and moan and groan about this stuff, and I think it's all stupid, because, you know, if you're how to say this, if you have like a significant other that's like that, like, you know, The clinginess is good. That's honestly a very good trait. And look, I'm gonna be honest with you. Depending on what it is, like possessiveness too is a good trait. Like depending on how it's used. There's obviously a toxic form of this, like can't talk to family, stuff like that. Now that's the toxic version. But look, ladies, I'm gonna be real with you. Everybody's like, oh, don't question the guy friends on my phone, all this about these guy friends and stuff. It's like these women value these guy friends more than they value the man they're with. And if that's the case, that man needs to leave. And you're like, oh, well, don't question my guy friends. Okay, well then don't question when this guy you're with ends up screwing one of your female friends. Don't question it. Because, that's what these guy friends are sticking around for. And more than likely, they probably are secretly doing this. And it's like, they want to be like, oh, that's insecure. Well, that's because these people have no morals. They don't have anything good things to bring to the table. Man, they don't have anything to bring good to the table. Same thing for a man. If he's got like a lot of women friends like that, look, I'm gonna be straight with you. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. And I'm not talking about somebody you message online, like from another country, obviously, unless they're like trying to cheat on you with them or something. But it just goes to show that, gosh, I'm sorry about this wind, y'all. It just goes to show that, that it's really, really pathetic, because these people, they obviously don't care about you enough. There's a video I watched. This girl, she was like, she had a good man, right? She had a good man. And this guy who was on this video found out she had all these guy friends and texted men at 12 a.m. in the morning, just all this other stuff. This man was like, look, it's either me or them guy friends. And she was like, well, it sure ain't you, because I'm not getting rid of my guy friends. Sorry. And he was like, okay. And he walks off, doesn't even care. He walks off because that's what he had to do. That guy was a king. And you have to do this. These women, they're like that. They're not clingy. They're not possessive of you. They're not protective. They're not nurturing. And the same thing for a man who's doing this with other women. If he has a woman like this, he's not he's not protective. He's not possessive. He's not clingy. He's not nothing. He doesn't care about you. And I can't stress this enough, because this is something that, like, it's got to be talked about. A lot of people ain't really talking about this much anymore, because, like, especially within the space of like otakus, because they're thinking it, but they ain't saying it, because they know how all these other people are. And it's like, who cares if they hate us? Who cares if they get mad, throw a temper tantrum and whatnot? Who cares? Call it out for what it really is. And it's like, you can't waste your life on people who don't give a damn about you. Like, life's too short for that, right? It's way too short to be doing that crap. And another thing too, y'all, is like, you really gotta watch who you marry. You gotta watch who you date, let alone marry. And y'all, gosh, I'm really sorry about this wind. It is very windy today. Anyway, it goes to show that you can't really trust hardly anybody, because, and another thing too is like, you know, a lot of times, like, you know, women, if like say there's a bag of chips and the phone's on the table, and you reach, say you're just going to try to, you know, do a test on them and go for the bag of the chips, and they'll literally grab their phone real quick. If they do this, leave them. Do not stay with them. They're obviously hiding something. Now, most men don't even do this. Like, there's some men who do this, but like a lot don't, because a lot don't really care. You know, and a lot of women want to use, you know, privacy as an excuse. And it's like, you know, privacy from what exactly? Because privacy from the fact that you're messaging other men, or, you know, cheating around or whatnot, that's privacy. But like, you know, I mean, sure, there are men who do it, but it's like, you know, I watched a video the other day, you know, as this cute couple from, I think it was Korea, and this guy, he had a bag of chips and his phone was on the table, and the woman, she goes and grabs the phone, and he grabs a bag of chips real quick. He don't even care about the phone. He grabbing the bag of chips, and he's like, no, he's like, you ain't getting these, you already ate half the bag. And she was like, I wasn't going for the chips, I was going for your phone. And then he just kind of was like, he's like, okay. And then she's like, you don't care? He was like, no. She was like, so I can use it and look at it. He's like, yeah, have fun. You know, he's sitting there playing a video game, right? And, you know, he puts the chips down, and then she sneaks and takes the chips, right? Like, you know, it was a really cool video, but like, you know, that's how it should be with a couple like that. That's how it should be. You know, they turn that into a playful thing too. Like, you know, and I'll tell you some of this right here. Now, not all, but I'm gonna tell you this now. Gamers are some of the most loyalist men you can find, right? I will never understand why a lot of these women are against it, because all they want is for them to spend money on them all the time, work all the time. It's like, you know, look, your man is home with you playing video games. Think about that really carefully right now. He could be in 1,000 other places. He could be at the club, he could be at the bar picking up women, he could be out with some woman somewhere else, but no, he's at home with you, because he don't want to do that. He's at home playing the game because that's where he feels safe. And then y'all want to try to crap on him about this, and then that's why men go out and do this, because gamers, if they go out and cheat, that's why they do it, because they don't feel safe in their own home with you. And it's like, you know, it's just disgusting behavior. But, you know, it just goes to show that a lot of people just don't care about you, bro. They don't. And I don't know, man. It's just, it's a pathetic way to be. But like, another thing too is like, you know, if I've seen other things, you know, men, they can't even show their goofy side, the child within them, because everybody expects them to kill the child within them, and that's not how it works. No, you don't kill the child, you heal the child, right? You know, killing the child is that alpha male bullshit. No, the Sigma man, I'll tell you what he does. He heals the child. He embraces the child within him. He embraces the goofy side within him. You know, I seen this video about this guy put straws on his teeth and said, hey babe, look, I'm a vampire. And she's like, what are you, two? And then he just looks defeated. And then the next date it shows he's just not even having fun. He just, she's like, is the food good? How was your day? He was like, huh, it's good. You know, he doesn't, he's not even enjoying the time with this woman, because he can't show any kind of goofiness to it. So it's like, you know, going back to the like the clingy scenario, It's like, you know, you would honestly have to be pretty crazy to honestly have a problem with this, because, you know, that really shows they care, you know, because, you know, all these people, they claim they want someone to care, and then they get with people who don't care. Like, they're fine with them not caring. And it's like, you know, it's weird. Like, but, you know, we've talked about a lot of weird stuff in society. But yeah, it's really weird. But yeah, if any of y'all get, if you get a clingy woman, or ladies, if you get a kind of a clingy man, embrace it, seriously, because, you know, this could be your partner for life. This could be your ride or die, right? And I'm gonna tell you now, that only comes once. If once, I'm gonna tell you right now. You know, and oh, sure, you may think the grass is greener on the other side. I promise you, it ain't. It ain't. I've got an ex. I'll tell you this right now. She, 13 years ago, she's still trying to message me, get back with me. You know, because she realized she messed up when she cheated. She realized that, you know, she got with this other guy and had kids with him. So, told me, she wished that I was the father of them. And I was with her and married to her and stuff. You know, she knew it. She knew she missed out on a good man. She knew that she screwed up. And look, I'm gonna tell you this right now. Women, they do this all the time. They just don't want to admit it. And men, they do this all the time to women. They just don't want to admit it. But, like, you know, it's a hard truth. It's a brutal truth to have to swallow, because it's like, you know, they're closed off, doors closed, just like I talked about the other day. Doors closed, they can't get back in. It's locked, it's sealed shut forever. You know, kind of like how Jigsaw says game over. You know, it's very much like that. And, you know, it doesn't, that's it. You know, these people regret it for the rest of their life. Sure, they may get a spouse, but that spouse ain't gonna be as good as that man they left if you're a woman. If you're a man, sure, you may get a woman, but she probably ain't gonna be as good as that woman you messed around on or whatever. So, yeah. It's just, sorry, allergies. It's just like, you know, it's brutal, but, you know, you gotta do what's best for you. So, anyway, guys, that's gonna do it for this walk with Luke today. Hope everybody liked the video. I'll upload this later. You know, but hey, we got some more good live streams coming. You know, gaming stuff. I think I'm gonna talk about Budokai Tenkaichi 3 and one of my upcoming videos. So, yeah. Anyway, like and subscribe maybe, or don't. Yeah. See you guys.